Joe, the Mariners wrap up that road trip today in Milwaukee. Lots to talk about with the Ends as they get ready for the Cubs and Phillies. The Seahawks arrive in Nashville today ahead of a joint practice and preseason game with the Titans. We'll hear from the players. And the Soundview Little Leaguers win their World Series opener. Head coach Kyle Yarbrough will join us from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. So fun to watch those guys. And it'll be fun to watch the Mariners back home at T-Mobile Park. They get the Cubs, Phillies. You know that place is going to be packed with Cubs fans this weekend. It'll be a great atmosphere. Mariners, though, lose today 7-4 this road trip finale. George Kirby struggled on the road for a third straight time. Today he gave up 6 runs in the first inning. Bill faced 10 batters. Man, that was a tough start.
Well, he's a strike thrower, and the league, and of course, Milwaukee knows he's going to be on the plate. And there's one thing to have control, which is to throw strikes, but to have command, that's what he lacked. 20 for 20 first pitch strikes, but yet they woodshedded him in that first inning. Hit after hit after hit. I think there's some little tweaks that he needs to make. I mean, some of these are going to be difficult on the fly. He's gotten his arm so flat. His breaking ball stays flat. His fastball is flat. But he, to his credit, after that beat up first inning, he came back out and held them held serve for 3 innings plus. He started to do what? Curveball with more depth and more slower breaking ball, going to the fastball at the top of the zone a little bit more. These were nice adjustments. Hopefully he can learn from that a little bit, start to pitch it inside and outside a little bit more, because he has the ability to do it and stay out of the middle of the plate as he was so much today against a team that just puts the ball in play, and they are tough outs.
Well, I mean, they are the best team in baseball for a reason. They find a way to get on base. They have the lowest chase rate in all of baseball right now. That means they don't swing at balls. And we saw that today. That's where Kirby struggled. You mentioned some things you want to see from George Kirby. There's his stats for the day. 84 pitches, 3 1/3 innings. That's a lot of pitches in that first inning. He threw, gave up 6 hits in that first inning. I also want to segue a little bit to Bryce Miller, Bill, because there's some concern there from Mariners fans as well. He's been struggling of late. What are you seeing there from Bryce Miller?
Well, after that initial half a dozen starts where he was brilliant, as good as anybody in the league, what's happened is, and maybe this is just because he's not a big guy, we saw that 97, 98, 99 mile-an-hour fastball with the big spin at the top of the zone, but now it's come back to more 94 to 96, and he doesn't have enough juice to win at the top, and he ends up trying to pitch backwards and throw lots of breaking stuff, and he danced with Milwaukee for 4 innings, and then they got him big. He's going to have to develop more sinking style, more pitching on the sides of the plate, and try to revive the fastball at moments at the top of the zone. But this is the journey, the long journey of being in the big leagues. You're not always going to be at the peak of weaponry and have that big fastball. You're going to have to pitch when your stuff's more mediocre sometimes and figure out how to get guys out. I think with the PitchCom era, a lot of these guys are just getting and going, lean on the catcher. And then when things unravel, we saw the problems. Big innings. We saw what's happened to Miller. We saw what's happened to Kirby. We've watched Brian Wu struggle in these situations. And I think a lot of it's because the game is going fast. You're leaning on the catcher. And then you've got to be the one that pulls yourself out of holes when you get into trouble.
That's interesting. I sit here and Chris talks about watching Bill, listening to Bill as we're watching the Mariners game. And Chris never stops. He's got the clipboard out here. Bill's talking. He's just taking notes as Bill goes along here. You're a great student, Egan. There you go, right there. The learning never stops with this guy.
I'm writing it down. I'm always learning. And I will say this, Paul. You mentioned 4 and 5 on the road trip, and I think you and I said it on the show. Go on the road. You got the Yankees, the Astros, and the Brewers. These are very good teams. Hold serve. They held serve.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 and 5. Everybody can point to that 22-0 game. I mean, it means not. It's one loss. They held serve on the road.
Yeah, and they've had a couple of sparks as well in that lineup. Brock Rodden deserves a shout out. Had another hit today. He's hitting 300 through the first 6 games of his big league career, and you got to like the way this guy's going. I mean, young guy. What is he? 5'8", 170. He's just a little guy, but he gets on base and gets it done.
5'8", 170. I think I was that back in the 7th grade, but I love raking Rodden is what Joel Knipp's calling him right now. I love what I'm seeing from him, Bill, but Donovan, how key has he been with his return? I mean, he's batting .421 in his last 5 games, 8 hits, 5 RBI. He's setting the table nicely.
Yeah, he's staying on pitches now. He's got his timing. He's hitting the ball hard up the middle of the field. He makes good contact. Left-handers, right-handers, it just doesn't matter. Now you see what this guy's all about. what they've been missing all season long. A bat-to-ball guy to mix in with a lineup full of guys that are a little bit all or nothing, having that element added. And really, Rodden gave him that at the bottom of the lineup, and then you've got, Canzone has been so terrific all season long, and Young. But you need guys that get on base. You need guys that make things happen. And Donovan certainly did. He's really nosing the ball up, and it's great to see what he can bring to the table.
All right, let's talk a little pitching now. Logan Gilbert has looked sharp lately. In his last 6 starts, he's 3-1 with an ERA of 3.47. Also has a reputation as a streak stopper. Gilbert has helped the Mariners end their losing ways several times now. In his last 5 starts, coming off a Mariners loss, the M's are 4-1. Here's Gilbert after last night's win.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, it feels like a lot of times we kind of had the back against the door and you have to win a game, and we do. And kind of been waiting for that run where we really string a few in a row. But that's another one of those games that just find a way to win and keep holding on, and eventually just feel like we're going to bust through. And, been saying that for a while. It needs to happen. There's definitely some urgency, but, it's all right in front of us, so we'll see.
Good stuff there from Logan Gilbert. I've always said he's kind of one of the veteran leaders on this team, and you need him down the stretch. Bill, I will say this about Logan Gilbert. You look at his numbers, and you're like, they're pretty good. But you look at him, and I see one word comes to mind: steady.
He has been very steady. He's really become the stopper, as you guys well mentioned, and you look at what he's done over this last 4 starts where he's beaten New York and he beat Milwaukee. He pitched very well against Tampa, and he beat Minnesota. And what he brings to the table is, I think he's tough. He's a tough guy. He's got such a high aptitude for the game. He's got a lot of weapons to go with a really good fastball at the top of the zone. But what he has that the others don't is he's able to make the ball go down, whether it's the split or the slider. He's got something that comes off the plane of the bat. And he had to battle. I mean, Milwaukee's tough. He really had to throw a lot of pitches, and maybe that's the one small problem that he has is he ends up using a lot of pitches to get to where he wants to get to. But I think Logan Gilbert's been terrific. He's their #1 guy. If you take away that stretch last year where he was hurt, he's been their best guy for a long time.
All right, as we continue to emphasize some of the positives about the Mariners, the bullpen, led by Andres Munoz, has been coming through. Gave up just 2 runs yesterday, only 1 run today. Munoz got his 100th save as a Mariner last night, 23rd save of the season. He threw just 9 pitches in that 9th inning last night. So, we've all been kind of singing his praises lately.
Yeah, after, that one game where he hyperventilated in Washington, he suddenly just turned the page. He went back to throwing 4-seam fastballs, and he's been basically unhittable outside of the crazy game against the Astros, throwing 100, 101, 102 with 4-seam fastball. And then when he needs to throw something that gets some sink, he's throwing the changeup. And then, of course, his slider is money. I think this guy is such a quality person, and he's been very good for this team. When there was all this conversation about trying to get a different guy in here to take his spot, I was like, no. This guy's the real deal. And I think he'll have a great finish to this season and a real important piece to this team and really throwing the ball good right now.
And I do want to say this because, we've taken our shots at several players on this team. Rucker looked great today. We love to see the local kid doing well. Vargas has been pitching well, Bill. We should see him rejoin the team tomorrow. What does that do for the bullpen?
Just another guy that maybe gives them another weapon in high leverage. It's hard to say where he's going to land when he first gets here because he's been out all season long. But he was the middle of the game, kind of a Bizardo that can kind of give you a little bit of high leverage, but also cover, pitch through the lineup a little bit. But again, ball really moves and throws in the upper 90s with a real hard breaking ball. If he can bring that to the table, it's a real lift because Bizardo is like his back has to be getting tired having to carry all of the right-handed setup every night when the team has the lead. Dominguez has not really proven that he can handle it. So Vargas, if he can step in and get the feel and really be a part of this, he could really lift them.